All right, so you like me who has a lot of, hold on, whoa, a lot of spools that you don't really have any thing to make with because there's so little filament on these spools. Well, guess what? Sunlu's come out with this amazing fusion splicer for filament. It's kind of like a regular fiber splicer if you're into that kind of stuff. Actually, because I do telecommunications during the daytime, it kind of reminds me of a fusion splicer that we use to splice fibers. Is that it looks exactly like it, pretty much right down to instead of splicing, you know, little mini fibers, but you're splicing pieces of plastic filament. And here it is. It's reasonably small. A regular fusion splicer is a little bit bigger that we use in telecommunications. But for this, this is great, good little size. And we're gonna go dive into what's in the box and how we use it. And we're gonna hopefully re-reel all this filament because this is only about a quarter of the reels that I have to splice. That being said, let's roll into it. Let's go. All right, guys, here it is. Here's the Sunlu Filament connector. This is the box it comes in. We're going to open this up, and inside we got the instructions. Pretty simple instructions. You know, it's going to run you by what you need, but you know, we're going to put that aside. And here is the unit. It's a small little unit. That was like 2 by 3 inches. We'll pull this out of the sleeve. Look at that. You get that plastic covering, and then over here we have these little PTFE tubes that's going to be holding the filaments together inside the splicing unit. You're going to slide the filament in here and right here, and this is where you're going to put it into the unit, and then that's going to heat up and then, you know, connect it. Then you have your power cord, a little USB, some little paper here, get this out of here. So here is the fusion splicer. We got the power plugs plugged in. We're going to open it. We'll see the inside. This is the fusion chamber. Once this starts heating up, it's going to be really hot. So we're going to check that. This is where you're going to put in the tube. And then back here, once the filament has cooled, it would go back here into this slot here. And you would press it down. There's a little blade in there. I don't know if you can see it in there in that angle. But there's a little blade in here. And this top part will go ahead and push the blade into the PTFE tube, resulting in cutting the tube, and you would be able to then release the filament. So enough talking, we're going to turn this on. We'll go through this step by step. So if for most people, a lot of people do is PLA, but this does have settings for you can change this to other temperatures, such as PCL, ABS, PETG, PA, PC. Just know that if you're spliced, you cannot splice 2 different types together. It won't work. It has to be PLA, PETG, you know, same types fusing together. Okay. As you can see, the temperature's been rising here. We got 105 of 185 is already set. You would change this for different temperatures. And so now, just so you see this, I'll be using 2 reels. I've seen a lot of videos where the creators are using like a piece of filament, but no. Here, we're going to use a whole reel, because this is what you're going to probably be working with in the first place. And when you go ahead and cut this, you have to cut these on an angle. So if you can see that there, these have to be cut on an angle to maximize the fusion piece. Here is the little tube. These are pieces that you would have to go ahead and continuously buy more, unless a friend of mine, someone told me that if you have a small piece of filament and you're able to cool this fast enough, and then slide the tube out, you won't have to go through as many tubes. But if you have like a long spool, it might take a while. So we're going to go ahead and slide one of these in here, one of these tubes. So you see, hopefully you can see that in there. There's the angle there. And then we're going to slide this other piece, and hopefully it doesn't twist too much on me. Hopefully you can probably see that in there. There's a connecting where it's nice and flat. It's flush together. The hard part about this so far, You want to give yourself some room on the reel. That way it doesn't twist up too much on you. The hard part about this is making sure that there's that beep saying it's ready. I'm gonna go ahead and put this, make sure it's try to center it as much as possible. And we're gonna go ahead and close this. I'm gonna push a little bit slightly. And that should be it. Nope. All right, there we go. There's the splice, and actually there's a tube still on there. I was able to, this is the hardest part about this so far, well, besides having to do this behind my phone here, my camera, is, is making sure that that fusion stays in place when you go ahead and splice this. You gotta try to maneuver your reel so that way it doesn't kick back. They have, good contact. This looks good so far. I'd have to test it, and it's pretty firm. It's cooled down, so it's pretty firm there. It is very rigid at this point right here, as opposed to the rest of the filament. The rest of the filament still feels flexible, but this point right here feels pretty firm. I'm able to slide this off. I could probably spin off the rest of this and just slide this PTFE tube off of here. This definitely needs a little practice. All right, I just want to take a moment to show you what the Sunlu Filament Splicer looks like next to an actual fusion splicer. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I do telecommunications for my daytime job, and this was what a actual fusion splicer to splice fibers that you would have for your, for your fiber network. You have a little slots there. Those open is where you would put the little fibers, and the fibers are like the size of your hair, pretty much. These will clamp down, and then this will close up, and then it would actually show you on the screen right here how your splices are going. It'll tell you if you have a good splice or a bad splice. You see these microns, and then this is the filament splicer that that we're talking about here in this video. Just want to take a moment to show you the differences and the similarities. All right, so apparently it's been a while, and I've been waiting, guys, to get this shirt washed or something, because the last time I recorded anything for this video was I was wearing this shirt. So I don't know, coincidence? I don't know. Anyway, so Sunlu's filament connector is a worthwhile investment if you don't have an AMS system. If you don't have like a bamboo or the new K2 that's coming out or came out, will go ahead and merge all your filaments together for you. So I have a few things here that I was able to print. This is two parts. There's two halves here, so I was merged those together. But this big piece right here, this is for a key blade that I'm working on for a project, and it was able to meld all the layers seamlessly together. There's another smaller part for something else. Look at the lines just merged right together, evenly, seamless, no seam, like as if it was just one filament. The big drawback is, of course, having these little tubes, the PTF tubes. They're disposable. If you have a small piece of filament that you're going to be using that you need to connect to, maybe like a couple of 2-3 feet, then if you get it cooled enough just in time, you're able to actually slide that PTF tube off and then reuse the tube, which is fine. But if you have several feet of filament on that spool, it's kind of a hassle. Like, I tried it, to do it, but if it's like a really long piece of filament on that reel, just cut it. It's just like a material that you're gonna go through, like filament or paint or whatever else, disposable item. So if you're gonna be doing this, stock up on these PTF tubes. That way you can keep going with those, and making sure that when you do the connection, make sure you have that 45-degree angle in there, and then kind of angle it. You might want to have to like bend the filament again, making sure that it doesn't twist on you because you're coming from two different directions. When you're doing that, it did take me a little while, but once I was able to get it down, I got results. So again, definitely a good investment to get the Sunlu filament connector. Pick that up, if you can see over here. I had a whole bunch of reels here. I had a whole lot more. I think I went through, 20 reels between all of them, and then I don't think I had one issue because I was able to take my time and make that connection. Again, if you do a flat connection butt to butt, it's not going to work. It even says it in the instructions manual. And once you put it into the connecting port, once you hear that first beep, take it right out. Okay, don't let it beep 3 times. If it's beeping 3 times, got to the second and third beep, it's melting too much, and then you'll wind up smushing it together. It's just going to turn into a mess. So just take it out after the first beep, kind of holding in your fingers. It's going to be a little warm, you know, kind of build up a little callus there if you have to, and then just cool it down with your fingers, rub it down, and then once it's cool to the touch, then you can go ahead and slice that. Guys, let me know if this information helped you decide whether you're going to get the Sunlu filament connector or not, and if you have it, how is it working for you? And I'll talk to you guys next time.